All right, all right. How are we, Sydney? Whoa, that's really good. I'm actually pumped now because this is a national tour. Not that there is a competition with any other city, but there is, okay? So, firstly, thank you so much for taking time out of your day, and you've made the right choice by being here. Let me tell you, you're going to get blown away with the amount of golden nuggets and value you'll get tonight. So, congrats to you for being here. Yeah, go you! Yeah. All right, now, first things first, anyone has been traveling and ever been to Paris? Hands up. Yeah? Anyone has eaten a croissant in their life? Yes? Okay, so we got about 60% of you that will understand anything that I'm saying. The rest, you... So, but don't worry, this is not the most important part. The best is yet to come. Now, it's LinkedIn versus Instagram, and it is a national tour. And it started in a country far, far away land in a city called Perth somehow. And then he went to Melbourne, which was last night. And Melbourne thinks they have the best coffee on top of Sydney, the best fashion. We think the opposite, but that's okay. But they've done really, really, really well on social media. So this little tool here, they've actually posted a lot. They've engaged a lot, and they've shared the knowledge and the truth bomb they got on the night. So personally, I really want you to kick every other city ass really big time. Can you do this? Yes. Okay, cool. So anything you hear, anything you like, grab a screenshot and put it on Instagram or LinkedIn or both, or send it to your friends. But more importantly, take notes for yourself. Okay? This is about you tonight. The decision that the speakers have made is they've done very well. A lot of you have fans, and you've told me while we were talking. And tonight they're here to share what they've learned along the way. So you can, in your turn, replicate that in your life, in your business, or in a little seed you have somewhere that's been planted about one day I'll do my own thing. Cool? So, question. Who likes networking here? Yes. Okay, that's usually where your spine gets really cold. Your spine gets really cold and you think, what the hell is that guy going to ask us to do? You're not going to rub anyone else's shoulder or anything, but I want to ask you one thing, and one thing only. It's all about intent. I want to know, what is your intent for tonight? So did you come to find out more about Instagram? Did you come to find out more about LinkedIn? Did you come to be inspired, or to just get that little kick up the ass to get started? Whatever it is, you need to be really clear. Because the only difference between where you're at, your current situation, to your desired situation, is movement in between. And the decision starts tonight. And what a better place to have two of the most famous speakers in Australia when it comes to social media to get this started. So we're going to put some music on, and you're going to have 30 seconds to turn right and left. Just pick the best looking person near you. Don't leave anyone hanging though, okay? If there's a third person at the end of the row, grab them with you and share what is your intent for tonight, okay? Go. So I want to hear, guys, you're having fun, don't you? So I want to hear from you. Shout some of your intents, please. It's about sharing. It's about being generous. Come on. Sorry? Learn. That's a good one. Next. Be like Nathanial. Good, good one. Well, you have an opportunity to see what he's doing, and then anyone else? Learning how to use LinkedIn because I have no idea. Yes? What about yourself? I heard before you were a fan of someone.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Brooke.
Yes, and Brooke is in the house. So, hey, you're a lucky girl. What is your intent for tonight?
I'm learning and being inspired.
Learning and be inspired. Cool. Okay, one last. We want to share. You've heard someone saying something that really strike a chord with you. Hands up before I choose. Ta-da, ta-da, ta-da. Tell me. Yes. So she wasn't here when we did the exercise. No, I'm sorry. What's your intent? Cool. Well, maybe you're the one that's going to make it. Spicy it up. It's all up to you. Cool. So I want to share with you tonight in framing the evening. Both the speakers have actually decided to do this tool because obviously, respectively, they've done really, really well. And when you do well in time, depending the type of person you are, you decide to give back or to just be greedy and stay in your corner. Now, they've put this national tour together and invested a lot of their time and energy and money in it. So they're here tonight for you. Now, who has bought anything on Black Friday? Hands up. Yeah, bought anything on Black Friday. Cool? Okay. The good thing is you're not buying anything tonight. Okay, you're not here. This is not a sales pitch. There is nothing to buy. The only thing tonight is, as you said, you're here to learn. You're here to be inspired. You're here to meet, your fun girl from Instagram. You're here to be more like Nathanial and just, get all those gems with you. Okay, how does that sound? Good? Nice. All right, so we'll be moving to the night, which is really, really interesting, where we've got actually two really, really inspiring person in the house. This is Wednesday night, and I have a confession to make. Usually I'm home watching The Crown, which is really cool. But when I get an email about coming tonight, I'm thinking, hang on a second. I'm going to be in the same room as social media royalty, so back at The Crown. So tonight we'll be with Nathanial, Bibby, okay? Yeah, great. Thank you for laughing. Thank you so much. So some people sometimes, the difference between you here and the people at home watching The Crown or something else is usually there's fear in the middle. And what I say about that is when I started, especially on Instagram and later on at LinkedIn, I was always afraid. When it was for me, it was fun. Friends, beer, drinking, holiday, you do a selfie and you post. When you do it for work or for yourself, it's a different story. And who here has been really afraid of posting the wrong thing, saying something that doesn't gel, being judged, and some keyboard warrior, lashing onto you? Anyone? Yeah, cool. We've got a few hands. Now, what happened with that is those people are in the dark, sitting on their sofa and their bums on sofa, and you decide to be here. And I want you to remember this quote. You will never be criticized by anyone doing better than you. You will always be criticized by someone doing less than you are. Okay? And by you being here today, you're doing better than them. And life is a mountain peak. Okay? So you're on that mountain, and what's happening? You're in the middle. And tonight you've got people at home, the keyboard warrior in the dark, trying to pull you down. Or you've got leaders, like we have tonight, which actually lending you a hand and lifting you up so you can be inspired by their journey, their achievement, and follow the path they carved for you. How cool is that? Okay, so the man, the king of LinkedIn, he's actually did things very simple. He's won a few awards. One of them is the best used of LinkedIn at the Social Media Marketing Awards in 2019. Come on. Yes. Now, it didn't stop there because, some people at party, they're saying, yeah, I've got a big deal, $1 million, or I've got a big deal, it's 10 or 50. This guy has generated for his client in excess of 400 million in sales through his LinkedIn lead generation. Come on. Now, if there's one guy I want to learn from in LinkedIn, is this one. No one else. Okay? Now, on the other side of the aisle, we have Instagram queen, Brooke. And again, very low achievers. I mean, seriously. She's actually been awarded Top 50 Small Business Leaders for 2019. And she likes tribes. So who here likes tribes, go to the gym or has a tribe around them? Yeah? We've got a few hands up. And usually that's in your community, in your village or at work. Yes? Well, that wasn't enough for Brooke. Her tribe for Instagram, she has member in 17 countries worldwide. And she's also a regular on Channel 9 and been on the cover of 2 business magazine. A round of applause, please. Okay, so without further ado, I would like to introduce you the king and the queen of the night. This is going to about to showdown. You need to be ready to be on the edge of your seat because you're going to have to choose which one you're battling on. Please welcome Nathanial, Bibby, and Brooke Vulinovich.
Can you say sofa more?
Sofa? Sofa?
Oh, every time he said it, I was like, sofa?
Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise. Ladies and gentlemen, make some more noise.
Woo!
That's cool.
Yeah. Do you want your chair?
I do.
Do you want? Well, there's 3. Who else is coming?
I'm going to stand and then I'm going to sit.
He does this
little
thing
bit.
where he stands and sits and stands and sits, and I'm like, ah, do I sit or stand?
You can sit? All right, and I'll stand.
Okay.
Okay. So welcome everybody to LinkedIn versus Instagram. This is the 3rd leg of our national tour of
Oh my
Australia.
God, I'm sad.
So you know what that means? We've had 2 warm-ups before you guys. So you guys are getting us in our prime. Isn't that right?
For a treat. Yeah.
How are you feeling tonight, Brooke?
Oh my God, I'm feeling so good because I slept last night. The night before I didn't sleep very much, and it was.
It's really cold in Melbourne, by the way.
It's so cold in Melbourne.
So we're loving this weather that you Sydney guys have got going on for us.
Yeah, I'm defrosting.
Would it be helpful for us to share some of our background story before we get started in all the tips and hacks and all that other stuff?
I changed my mind.
Brooke,
Hello.
why don't you start? Why don't you tell us a little bit about when things sort of went from meh to yeah.
Yeah, things are real meh. So I started my business. I think a lot of people start their business out of a really exciting place and they're really inspired and they can't wait. I didn't really start it like that. Mine started more out of a place of desperation. I had a mortgage and I had no money and I dropped out of uni and then I dropped out of TAFE. So I had no qualifications. I didn't think anyone would hire me. I applied for a couple of jobs and they didn't. So I really felt like a bit of a loser. And I was down to the last $100 in my bank account. And I'd actually started my business already. And it just wasn't really working out the way that I hoped it would. So one of my girlfriends actually said to me, do you want to go get your nails done? And I said, yeah, sure, let's go do that. But in my head, I was like, okay, I only have $100 in my bank account. My nails going to be about $60, but that's okay. It's okay. And I obviously didn't want to tell her that I had no money because I was embarrassed. So we went to get our nails done and she parked in the most expensive car park in Perth City. And as she was driving in, I was like, you know that scene from, what's the Hangover where he's like calculating? That was me calculating all of these costs. The retard guy?
I remember, yeah.
Yeah, that one. I'm not saying that, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I was calculating this, and I was like, oh my God, $20 for parking, $60 for nails. By the time I spend the other, I'm not going to have any money left after this. But obviously, I went through with it because, a nice manicure. Priorities. But that really was a low point for me because, when you're getting your nails, well, maybe not the boys, but when you're getting your nails done and you can't be distracted by other things and you start thinking about everything going on. And I was literally just thinking, how am I going to pay my bills after this? I don't know what I'm going to do. So for me, I thought, all right, I need opportunities. I need opportunities to come my way. And the only way to get opportunities is for me to put myself out there and meet people and basically just go along with anything that comes my way and anything I get asked to do. So I attended a networking event and it became apparent how many business owners were struggling with social media, which I had absolutely no idea that they were. And I said, oh, come over to my apartment. We'll have a coffee. I'll teach you what I've done on social media. It's not a big deal. And that was 3 years ago. And I'm still just having coffees and teaching people social media. But that was my low point. What about yours?
Well done. Good on you for sharing that. Can we have a round
Thank
of applause,
you.
Brooke, please? It's not easy sharing those kind of stories. In fact, the first time I met Brooke was when I interviewed her, and it was an environment like this. And we went for a drink after the interview, and Brooke told me that story, and I said, "What the hell did you share that in the interview?" But it's scary being vulnerable like that. So
Yeah, and it's embarrassing. I didn't want to stand up and be like, "Oh, I had no money," but I had no money. That's the reality. That was my rock bottom, and I had a mortgage to pay.
So 7 years ago, if I was sat here in a room like this, what would be going through my head would be, yeah, look, it's easy for you guys. You've got the money, you've got the time, you've got the resources, you've got all these things which, I don't have. And 7 years ago was when I experienced a similar sort of experience to Brooke, a rock bottom where I had quit my job. and I hadn't been paid in 3 months. The company I was working for was in financial problems. Best salesperson in the country, in the company, but I hadn't been paid in 3 months. And, I quit my job. I was driving home through Albert Park in Melbourne, and I remember looking at the fuel gauge and thinking, when it gets to empty, I'm not going to be able to fill that back up again. And when you're a salesperson, it's not like you can just go out and get another sales job and expect to be successful straight away. It takes a while before you get leads. I was $20,000 in debt. Get home, there's an envelope in front of my front door of my apartment, and on the it almost felt like being punched in the stomach by Mike Tyson when I saw the words that it said across the front of this envelope. It said eviction notice. And I go inside my apartment and I'm thinking, fuck, what do I do? And it gets dark, and so I go to switch on the lights, right? Click, click, no lights come on. I hadn't paid the electricity bill. So I'm sitting in this dark apartment. I do what any grown man would do, and I call my mum. I say, Mum, I'm in trouble. Can you help me out? I get vulnerable sharing the story now. My mum's one of the best women on this planet, period. She did something that I value so much to this day, but she said no. She said, no, I can't help you out. You're on your own. And what I didn't realize at the time is that was a huge gift. She knew what I was capable of, even though I didn't see it myself at the time. And so I got I got 2 extension cables, and I plugged them both together, ran them down the stairwell of my apartment building into a power socket in the public area of my building, and I connected the other end to a desk lamp, and underneath that desk lamp I wrote my business plan, and the next day I made $15,000. I started my business 7 years ago like that. So I think in life we either need inspiration or desperation, and I got desperation. I'm really glad that I got it, and I'm hoping that tonight, by sharing some of our stories with you, that we can give you some inspiration, and maybe you don't have to go through some of the things that we did to get where we are today.
Yeah, and you can still have nice nails and have it all.
100%. So now that that's out of the way, wow.
That's the hard part. It's hard to stand in front of people and be like, I used to suck really badly. My life was really shit. Now it's a little bit better.
Yeah. It's interesting because like a few weeks after that moment, I paired up with a business coach who was doing an event similar to this, and I said, look, I'll invite my network, and in exchange he'll thank me as a sponsor at the end. And I was in online marketing. I wasn't a LinkedIn specialist at this time, and I said, look, instead of saying I'm an online marketing specialist, why don't you tell them I'm a LinkedIn specialist, and we'll just see how the response is. And what happened is 40%, 50% of the room just swamped me, after this event, saying, well, how do I know who to connect with? How do I write my headline? How do I optimize my profile? How do I convert connections to offline discussions? Everyone was on this platform, no one knew how to use it properly. And so David Guest, who did the event, being a business coach, he came over to me and he whispered in my ear, the market is telling you what it wants. And that was a really defining moment for me, because I just decided to specialize exclusively in LinkedIn marketing at that point. No one else in the country was doing it. It was the first LinkedIn marketing agency in Australia. And that was 7 years ago, And so obviously I've learned so much by specializing on the platform, similar to Brooke, in the past few years. So what we're going to talk about today is there's 3 real key pillars that I want to talk about. Attention, how to capture attention, how to hold on to that attention, how to build trust with your audience, and then how to turn it into dollars. So Brooke and I are here, we're just adding value. You'll notice there's no sales pitch at the end of today. We're literally here just to build a closer relationship with you guys. You guys are part of our audience, and we think that building a relationship is much more than just LinkedIn and Instagram. It's about having offline relationships as well.
Agreed.
But unless you turn it into dollars at some point, it's not sustainable. We're very fortunate that we're able to do that because we have very successful businesses, and we're able to deliver value to you guys without asking for anything in return. We find that the more value we provide, the more that comes back to us. Would you agree?
Yeah, and we like talking. So
Speak for yourself.
this helps. Lies. What did you tell me today? You went to chat to someone and they didn't understand English and you just kept talking? Yep. This is Nathanial Bibby, my
Was
friend.
that just after you did an Instagram story of me asleep on the airplane?
Did anyone see that? And you know what was so funny? I don't think the air hostess realised I knew him because she was giving me the dirtiest look. And I was like, oh, this is awkward, but I do know him. Ooh.
Creepy.
I know, creepy, but fun.
Yeah. So what a lot of the stuff we're going to teach you today actually is trying not to be creepy on social media.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a big one.
Sorry, I'm having a beer, not water. Yeah. Okay, so capturing attention. How do you capture attention on Instagram?
Whew. Going in with the deep questions. All right, so on Instagram, your purpose is to add value. Now, I know for me, when I started getting more into Instagram and learning more about it, and I kept reading this add value, and I was like, but what does that mean, right? Has anyone seen that or heard that say before? So I did more and more research and lots of testing, and basically found that I could sum up whether you are product or service or personal brand or influencer, that there's really 3 main content types that you can share. And if you ensure one of your content, if you ensure your content ticks at least one of these boxes, you're adding value. So if your post is entertaining, that's valuable. If your post is inspiring, that's valuable. Or if your post is educational, that's valuable. So they're your 3 main either starting points or checklist points for working out whether your content is going to grab the attention on this platform or not. So before your post, ask yourself, will my ideal client find this either inspiring, entertaining, or educational? If not, don't post it because that's not valuable content. And you'll start to notice that what you're sharing will really change and will really grab attention because it ticks those boxes. Okay, so it doesn't need to be all 3, it just needs to be at least 1. What about on LinkedIn?
Well, you got to add value on LinkedIn as well.
Yeah.
So, LinkedIn versus Instagram is a bit of a...
We lied.
Well, it's a bit of a marketing thing, I guess, but it's not about LinkedIn or Instagram, it's about your audience.
Yeah.
Where are they hanging out? What are they interested in? And how can you add value to their lives? And I think the easiest way to find out how you can add value is to ask them. The wrong thing to do, I think, is to sit in a room on your own going, how do I add value to my audience? Because you're in your own head. It's literally go out there and ask them. Because the reality is, if you can go away from tonight and you can think, every